Journalist Simone Biles has apologized to Riley Gaines over X. Simone Biles recently attacked Riley Gaines, who was calling out a female high school team with a biological male pitcher. Now, Biles called Gaines, quote, truly sick and a, quote, sore loser. Biles then called on Gaines to, quote, uplift the trans community and also took her insults a step further by body shaming Riley Gaines, saying, quote, bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. But now, Simone Biles says she's sorry, saying in part, quote, I've always believed competitive equity and inclusivity are both essential in sport. The current system doesn't adequately balance these important principles, which often leads to frustration and heated exchanges. And it didn't help for me to get personal with Riley, which I apologize for. I was not advocating for policies that compromise fairness in women's sports. I believe sports organizations have a responsibility to come up with rules supporting inclusion while maintaining fair competition. Riley, you generously and graciously accepted her apology. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, look, the things that she said about me personally, they didn't hurt my feelings, to be honest with you. Number one, I'm very secure with myself. Number two, I know I'm on the right side of history. So she can say whatever she wants about me personally. Where I took issue with the original tweets that she put out, those two tweets, was what the message she was sending to the next generation, to younger girls who have dreams to succeed and to compete and to achieve, just like I'm sure Simone Biles had at one point in her life, which she got to fulfill. That's the problem I have with that. But nonetheless, I accept her apology. I see this truthfully as a really big win. You have this really famous public figure who is now issuing a groveling public apology and backtracks after, again, tweeting pro-trans propaganda, if you will. This scenario would have been unthinkable a year, certainly 2 years ago. Whether it's sincere or not, I think that's a different question. But nonetheless, she learned we are not living in 2020 anymore. Here's what I want to say about this, though. Now, I saw the response this weekend after she initially tweeted those things, and now I'm seeing the response that she's getting after her apology. And of course, what she has done here is alienated everyone, which is what happens when you sit on the fence. Of course, in her apology, she's saying, look, no, I'm not advocating for men and women's sports. I want to just read some of these posts that I saw over on Blue Sky, which is, of course, like the alternative that liberals created for X when Elon Musk bought it. Here we have someone saying, the thing is, I was content to let her original call for segregation of trans athletes slide. I was annoyed but bit my tongue, but now this is showing intentionality. She's had time to think about what she said, and she has settled on better apologize to the fascists. Here someone says Simone Biles is an anti-trans expletive piece of expletive. What's shameful is Biles is apologizing to the fascist monster, that fascist monster, of course, being me. After correctly and righteously attacking the fascist monster, there should be no apologies for fighting bigotry other than the bigot begging for mercy and us not listening. No pity for hateful bigots, no mercy for traitors. I hate that she has had to learn this way. That is the type of hatred that I've endured for 3 years. I hate that Simone Biles now has to be a recipient of it. But again, that's to be expected when she took the stance that she did, and in the manner with such venom that she did.
Riley, I was struck by and so impressed by the thoughtfulness and the graciousness and the call to action of your response to her apology. Would you share a few of the points that you made there?
Absolutely. Well, I concluded my apology by welcoming her to join the fight. Because again, she says in there, I believe it's up to the sports organizations to do something about this. Of course, I want to maintain fairness. I would love to have her stand alongside me, whether or not that's at things like Donald Trump's executive order signing, where he signed this. I've, of course, signed my name to a lawsuit against the NCAA for their discriminatory regressive policies. I would love for Simone Biles to be a part in this fight. A couple things I mentioned in my response to her apology. One of those things being she advocated for competitive equity. Let me be very clear here. Sports inherently, by their true nature, are inclusive. Anyone can play, and everyone should play, in my opinion. But competition, on the other hand, and by definition, by the nature of the word, it is exclusive. That's what competition means. Of course, there is a winner in a competition. Therefore, it has to be exclusive. So the idea of competitive equity is totally nonsensical, and it's an oxymoron. So I was able to point out some of those things to her, which, again, I don't know if we'll see a response to. I think she did her piece, and maybe now she will go back into hiding until her Netflix docuseries is out.
a lot of us were speaking about the unfortunate expected impact that maybe that original stance that she made would have on young girls. So many that looked up to her as a champion and this amazing, decorated athlete that might now feel disheartened or feel that she wasn't standing up for them. So my question is, first of all, it was hard for me to even read it was hard for me to read with you sitting next to here, someone I care about and respect so much, those harsh words against you. I couldn't imagine actually sending them to you. But what do you think the message is now that she has shaped for these young women that used to look up to her?
I think the thing a lot of people took issue with is, of course, the body shaming portion of this, where she's referring to me as someone with a male stature. First of all, I'm 5'5". I wouldn't say that's overly tall for a woman. Maybe compared to someone who's 4'8", that might seem like a giant, but to most women, that's relatively standard. I'm about 130, 135 pounds. Not overly big. Yes, I'm muscular. I think that's part of being an athlete. And if anyone would understand that, you would imagine it would be Simone Biles. This is a woman who has been a part of many different body positivity campaigns. She's been under severe scrutiny in the past because of her muscular stature. So I think that's the thing that most people took issue with. And I've had, even since, of course, several, whether it's hundreds really, of parents of young girls or young athletes themselves who say, look, I've got a muscular body. People like my younger sister. My younger sister she's 16 years old. She's jacked. Okay, like she has like a full like raging 12-pack. She's a gymnast. She's the best of the best, and she will go on to do incredible things in her collegiate career and beyond. We work out together on Saturday mornings, actually before she goes to gymnastics practice, which speaks to her dedication. And she showed up. This happened on Friday night. She showed up Saturday morning, like almost in tears, like, Riley, like, I admire you so much. You're my sister, but I also, as a gymnast, I've admired Simone for so long because I thought you guys were on the same team. I'm realizing that's not the case, and if I have to choose one role model, it's not going to be Simone.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's the measure of damage right there.
Yeah. I'm going to be telling my daughter to look up to you. She used to look up to Simone Biles. She looks up to Riley Gaines.
And your future daughter. That is to come.
My future daughter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. No, I was just going to say, the thing that kind of hit me most about Simone Biles was what was happening with her right after her last Olympics. She had to go testify about sexual assault by a doctor. And all the stories that we learned about men who were around women in women's sports. And it breaks my heart that she missed the opportunity and the understanding to know that a man in sports would not be fair, just as what happened to her with a man around sports turned out to be pretty destructive.
I got a lot of pushback for bringing up Larry Nassar, but let me provide a little context to that. I've sat in that same seat that Simone Biles sat in testifying before Congress. And if you compare the words that she said, I went back and listened to it, to the words that I said, totally different issues, similar premise. We sound like we're saying the exact same thing. We both got emotional in those settings. And again, of course, I know, let me be very clear, actually. Larry Nassar, I believe he deserves to spend every waking second for the rest of his life miserable and rotting away in that prison cell where he is now, okay, to be very, very clear. But I draw that connection because, again, picture it. You're in a swimming locker room, which there's no stalls necessarily. It's just a big open space. You're under the shower head, you're showering, and there is a 6'4" naked man standing fully naked, fully intact, watching you shower where you are simultaneously fully undressed. That is why I drew that connection. I don't think a lot of people understand that. But in any case, anyone who attempts to normalize what we went through or what Simone went through is a disgusting human being.
Riley,
Agreed.
I just have to know, because I've been dying to know ever since I saw the tweet at 7:22 p.m. Friday. Were you shocked when an Olympic medalist, 11 medals, 30 medals in the World Championship, sent you that message? What went through your mind when you saw that tweet?
I had to check the profile a couple times to make sure it was the real Simone Biles. I was in total disbelief. This is a woman that I've admired, I've looked up to. Of course, she's done so much for the sport of gymnastics, but beyond that, much broader for women's sports in general. And I was heartbroken to learn it was, in fact, the real Simone Biles.
I just wanted to say you're a hero for young women,
Right.
but also for men. You're an American hero.
That's right.
And I'm glad to be on the couch with you today.
Well, thank you, Charles. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
That's right. And definitely, I know we all grew up with posters of athletes on our wall, and you'd be my athlete on the wall for sure. Continued champion. All right, guys.